If you don't know about beach pickles, pog, or spam, then listen closely. A local eatery is offering a few of these items on its latest fall menu. So the restaurant is called Hanai, and one of the co-founders, Tess Bevernage, is here now to give us a little bit of a taste. Tess, hello there and welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having
So
me.
when we talk about Hawaiian-style flavors, what kinds of foods come to mind for you?
Yeah, Hawaii has a very interesting history that a lot of different cultures came to the islands in the early 1900s, a lot of which were Japanese, Chinese, Korean. And when they used to work together, they would bring a lot of their dishes to eat and enjoy together and share a lot of the things that they loved with the different cultures. And through the years, it just kind of became its own version of that dish. So an example is the dish that we'll be doing today kind of just sort of evolved over time with all the different influences from the different
I see.
cultures.
So growing up there and going to school there, how did these flavors influence you?
It's very diverse. I mean, I had, the privilege of growing up with Japanese families, Korean families. My family was French. My partner's family is Filipino. So it's just like you get to it's really the best way to eat the best food because every house you go to has all the different flavors and you get to experience them all the time.
So then your move from Oahu,
Yes.
the island of Oahu, to Vancouver. What was your idea and your concept in putting this restaurant together?
Well, we actually started out of a commissary, and we did that for a few years. And then we had the pleasure of becoming good friends with Miki and Steven, who own Dachi and Elephant. And they approached us to open a restaurant. It wasn't necessarily in our plans, but it felt so serendipitous and right that we just took that leap, and now here we are. We have our little brick and mortar.
I love it. I just
Yeah.
like, there's some really beautiful things that you've laid out here in front of us. What are these, for example? What's this?
So these are boiled peanuts. They're part of our Ohana menu. You get a lot of little snacks at the beginning of the menu, and they're influenced from Chinese culture, and it's actually something that you get in Hawaii. You can go to a gas station and they come in like plastic bags.
Oh, I see. Boiled peanut. What do you boil them in?
They get boiled for a few hours with star anise, ginger, and salt. So when you crack them open, they're really juicy and delicious.
That's just to start, just to whet your appetite when you
Yes.
sit down, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Little fishies. What have we got
Little
here?
fishies. This is sort of a Japanese influence. They're candied anchovies. They get candied in honey, soy, and sesame. They're nice and crunchy, savory, sweet, and they go really nice with some of the sakes and the wine that you can also opt to pair.
And the omega-3s that are
Yes.
down in there as
I
well.
mean,
These are good for you.
Yeah, you're practically, eating healthy
I
with all
love
of these
anchovies,
options.
sardines, all those
Yes.
fatty
Yeah.
fish. I just love them.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to put together with us here? You've got some noodles prepped.
Yes.
What are we making?
Yep, so this is our Soman Salad. It is a cold noodle salad, wheat-based, Japanese-influenced salad. One of my personal favorite. You can find it pretty much everywhere in Hawaii, even in high schools, and it was something that they would only have a certain amount of portions each week. And that's probably the only time I would run for something, is I would run to the cafeteria to get one of the portions that they would make for the lunch. So refreshing and really lovely and fresh.
Okay, so what kind of noodle do
Yeah.
you use here?
It's somen.
So that's the somen
it's a
salad. So
wheat-based
that's
noodle, and it's a cold-based noodle salad. So these are all of the toppings that you put on them. Traditionally in Hawaii, you'll get kamaboko, which is fish cake. So we can put a couple of those little guys on there.
Fish cake. Okay, you're probably better with the chopsticks than I
This
am,
is
but
the
okay, we'll start with a
test.
little bit of this.
Yeah, a little bit of fish cakes.
Fish cakes. We're going to build these side by side.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Love that. Okay.
And then this is tamago yaki. So it's a
Egg?
It's an egg, yep, that gets, so all these little swirls are different layers. We use some shiso that grows in our garden.
Where do you
some
source
mirin.
these things here?
We make them.
You make these?
Yeah,
Okay.
they get made fresh every day.
The fish cake too? Like
The fish cake, no, the fish cake comes from Kim's Mart. Shout out to Kim's Mart. It's great,
Yes.
great
Okay.
place.
Ideal.
Yeah.
What else? This is
and
getting
then
fun.
we can go ahead and grab some of this purple cabbage.
Isn't that beautiful? Look at the color combination. Look, you brought in flowers. Now doesn't that just make you think of Hawaii right there?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
We're lucky enough to have a little garden outside of our restaurant, so we grow some nasturtiums, lots of fresh herbs, and
How are you being received on the drive?
oh, it's so lovely.
Yeah.
It's such a family vibe on the drive, and we have some great regulars that were at the restaurant that was prior to there that are coming and supporting us, and they show up and we talk about their families and how their kids are doing, and it just feels like we're building this little family of our own.
And we are building something incredible here.
So grab a couple cucumbers.
Little cucumbers. I love these little baby cucumbers, and I love this colorful combination here because that. Now, what have you also got under here? These are
So
basil leaves. Or?
these are actually holy basil leaves. We work with a lovely guy named Noon who's bought this plant for us. Actually, it's like if you can smell, the holy basil has like a very like lemony, intense, beautiful.
I love basil.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
you
it.
can eat it. Yeah,
I'll do that right now.
And it's a little bit different than normal basil. It's like a.
It's a very soft. Actually, I'm getting the lemon, but I'm getting a nice little soft finish on that as well.
Yeah. So we can actually take a little bit of green onion as well.
This is just an easy thing, and this would be something you could even prepare for your child to take for lunch,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Just have this all, and they could eat this. Something.
Yeah, you
kind
can
of
wrap
fun.
it up. Like you can prepare it, wrap it up overnight, and then have it. The next day.
Radish.
A little bit of radish. So all of the colors, you know.
I know. I'm trying to sort them out here so you can see a little bit of variety around there as well.
Very inspired by the colors of Hawaii.
Love it.
Yeah, and then we have a little bit of Spam as well.
Okay, what's with the Spam?
What's with the Spam?
There's got to be some history of Spam now.
There is definitely a strong history and love of Spam in Hawaii. It's part of the
luncheon meat.
culture.
Okay.
Yep. You'll see it in Spam musubis, and it actually comes from during the time that the Japanese were interned in America. In Hawaii, they didn't have enough room to do that, so they put sanctions on what they were able to eat, and they turned to Spam from the army, and that's where the Spam musubi is. They say that that's where it's born.
Right.
And so it's just something that's sort of part of our day-to-day life. We have
There's a whole. You're giving us a whole lot of history in this bowl as well, and you're picking up on all of those cultural influences.
And you definitely get that with the Ohana menu. Each dish has a little story with it. All of our servers are so receptive to all of the stories, and they love telling it themselves. So you can take a couple little cubes.
Okay,
of Spam.
more Spam.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, carrots.
Never a problem.
Are those carrots?
This is actually dried squid.
Oh,
yeah. Looks like carrots.
It looks like grated carrot to me. That's dried squid. And but that does. You're not going to put that on
this.
You've got
just
the Spam.
Snacks.
That's
or,
something else.
You know, you could if you wanted to. And then we can take a couple little nasturtiums with our hands.
Oh, good.
And
these are edible. These are edible flowers.
They have like
you're just taking the petals off?
Yeah, just take
you're not
the little
eat the whole
petals
flower?
off.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah,
Where
has
would you
a nice
source
little...
nasturtium just for if you wanted to use them in food? I mean, you can grow them. I guess
you can grow them. I think a lot of farms, like we work with Earth Apple Organics and Glorious Organics, and they offer that as well. You can find them at the farmers market, and then you just end up with a beautiful colored salad.
Are we missing something?
The sauce, yes.
What's in here?
So the sauce is made with, we make chicken stock from our huli huli chickens.
Okay, well, can we bring up the huli huli chicken over here too?
So the huli huli chicken is also currently on our menu. It's on our tasting menu. It is a ode to the rotisserie chickens that you see in Hawaii that you can smell from miles and miles away.
Yes, well, I can smell it from close to.
Yeah, and it comes with a nice little like sweet and sour sauce to dip in. So we make the stock from that, and it just gets a little bit of
And you've got some rosé, you've brought some white, or you could pair it with some sake as well. Again, bringing in some of those cultural influences. How much did this sauce do? As much as you want. Is that it?
All of it.
Love it.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And then you give it a little mix.
Is this going to take you back to high school?
Yes, it always does. Except now I don't have to run for it. I can just make it myself.
It's awesome. Well, cheers to you, and thank you so much for this window into the foods of Hawaiian
My pleasure.
style.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank
Bye-bye
you
for
so
now.
much.
Beautiful.